Hello, and thank you for watching another iteration by Craig Irvin. And you're watching part 2 of Fast Ways to Provision New Customers in Active Directory. And we're going to be using PowerShell on a 2008 R2 domain controller. And as just a quick introduction, I'm going to be splitting this PowerShell script that I created into basically 3 parts. Part 1 you most likely have already watched. We're right now on part 2. And in this we're going to go over how to collect the different requirements and also properly format it, how to log information, create the OUs, do some error trapping, and also special date-time formatting, which is used for the log file. So basically what I want to hit right now is the collection of requirements and the information, and also how to properly format that. So when we first launched the script, as you saw in part 1, we collect 2 pieces of information, and that's the customer account number and the customer name. And with that, we want to format both of these to make sure that they look exactly the way other existing customers look like. So the customer account number is going to be all uppercase with a state code dash and then the account number. And then also with the customer name, we're going to strip out any spaces and special characters and leave everything else the same. Now in part 1 you also saw that we were outputting some information to the screen, and in that case whenever something good happened it would be listed in a green font, and then whenever something bad or something that we should check happened would be outputted in a red font. But in addition to this display, we also want to record this information so we can actually go back and look at it and also use it to do audits in a later time. So we're going to want to log this information, and we do this by essentially using a command called start-transcript, and then at the very end we do a stop-transcript. And what this does is it will take anything that you output with write host and put it into the log file with some additional information, which we'll see later on. And that's basically it. So whenever you want to start logging, you do a start transcript, and when you want to stop it, you do a stop transcript. And there's some additional commands that you're going to want to use to set up the log file. In my case, I don't want it to overwrite any existing log files. I always want to create a new one, and I'll go over that in the script once we get to it. So with the date time formatting, this is specifically for the log file creation. So what I want to do is make as unique as possible log file for whenever we run this script. So in error trapping, we basically are using this to catch any type of errors that may happen and prevent the script from continuing to run. In addition to that, whenever we do a try and catch, we're able to use this script and overlay it on top of existing customers and run it again and fix any possible issues that may have happened, or overlay it on the existing customer and add in things that are being added in as a new standard. So this is really helpful to do, and essentially all it is we're going to do a command that says try and tries the output, and if it errors out, the catch is the thing that displays basically the right host in red font to tell you something didn't happen the way it was supposed to. Now also with creating OUs on a 2008 R2 domain controller, you have one additional best practice for when you create OUs. And if you've gone into a 2008 R2 domain controller, you'll notice that there's a checkbox that basically says protect against accidental deletion. So we're going to adhere to this best practice and build that into our commands. So it's not available on 2008 or lower domain controllers. So if you're using this or reusing this script, you want to make sure that you remove this out. Alright, and here we are at the script. I just want to go ahead and run through everything so you can understand hopefully what I've done so far. And right off the bat, I am going to do a check for the Active Directory module, and if it's not loaded, I am going to immediately do an import module for the Active Directory. One of the things that I've also learned between VB scripting and PowerShell scripting, for those who might be making the transition, is that your functions should always be at the top. Whereas, you could, in a VB script, you can put it just about anywhere. In this particular case, you need to always make sure it's above the command that you're at least running. So good practice is just to put all your functions at the top. So this one function that we're going to be doing in this part 2 script is going to be just creating the OUs. So you'll see right off the bat that I'm declaring that I need 2 different parameters passed to the create OU function, and that's going to be the OU name and AD path. In the slides that I were talking about with the error handling, I'm doing a try and catch. So essentially I'm going to try this command first, and if it fails, the right host isn't done, the catch takes effect, and then I do a different right host with the red foreground color, and that's basically allows me to display that the OU itself wasn't created because of some reason. If it does go through, then obviously it's written in green. Now, important thing to know that when you're using the start transcript is that you need to add in your carriage returns. If you don't do this, when you take a look at your output file for the start transcript, everything will be on one line. So make sure you always put in the carriage returns here. So in the statement, I'm going to create a new organizational unit with a name that's passed to it, in the path that is also passed to it, and the 2008 R2 domain controller requirement now is that you do protect from accidental deletion, and you're going to set that to true. And here is where our initial input is collected. So this is actually what you first see. I clear the screen, and I'm going to send out a read host, collect it, and once the information is collected, I'm going to take it and convert it to uppercase. Then I'm going to take the next one, and I'm going to read the host, set it to customer name, and I'm doing 2 regex expressions here. And the first one is the removal of spaces, and the second one is the removal of any special characters. Then, right before I do my start transcript, I'm going to set 2 more variables, and the U format, which I talked about, is the special formatting, and here's the example of what it looks like and what it actually means. And then also the log file, which also could be a UNC path, but in this case I'm just going to pump it into the logs directory underneath the provision new customers. And then I start the transcript. Since there's a lot to talk about, I'm going to have to split this video up into 2 parts. So if you would, go over to the next video and watch it, and I will cover the remaining piece of it, which is where we do the OU creations. So thank you for watching, and please continue on.